Did you know that worldwide food costs are forecast to jump 5% by the end of 2025, with supply chain experts warning about major disruptions affecting supermarkets across the nation? But here's the alarming part. August is actually the final month that you can hoard these 13 crucial foods before costs rocket and availability crashes. Trust me, number 9 on this list could literally save your family hundreds of dollars and keep you fed for months. Pay attention, this isn't your typical grocery shopping video. According to the latest World Bank study, we're facing a perfect storm of climate disasters, supply chain breakdowns, and geopolitical tensions that are about to strike our food system hard. Major retailers are already quietly establishing purchase limits on everyday items, but most people have no idea what's coming. I've spent the last 2 weeks reviewing government reports, talking to supply chain insiders, and researching storage methods to bring you this list. And here's the good news. You don't need thousands of dollars or a bunker. What you need is smart strategy and the right information before August ends. Now, before we start, proper storage is critical. You'll need a cool, dry space around 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And remember, we're not panic buying, we're smart shopping. Think of it as your insurance policy against food inflation and shortages. Stick around until the end because I'm going to share a genius storage hack that most preppers completely overlook. Let's jump into the 13 foods you absolutely must stockpile in August 2025. Number 1, better Mauricio, water. You know, everyone loves to talk about food storage, rice, pasta, beans, but here's the truth nobody wants to hear. You can survive weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. 3 days, that's it. And even before you die of dehydration, you'll feel it. Your energy tanks, your thinking gets foggy, headaches start pounding, your mood swings like crazy. It's not pretty. I'll never forget this. Last summer, a friend of mine in Phoenix texted me at midnight, "Do you know anyone selling water?" She wasn't joking. A massive heat wave hit. The power grid failed for 2 days, and the grocery store shelves were stripped bare by lunchtime. No water trucks, no bottled water, nothing. She ended up melting ice from her freezer just to make baby formula. That's not some third world crisis. That's right here in the US last year. And these events are only becoming more common. July 2025 already has meteorologists warning about mega heat domes and record-breaking drought patterns across several states. And here's where it gets scary. People assume, oh, I'll just drink from the tap. Sure, until your city issues a boil water advisory because the pumps lost power or floodwater contaminated the pipes. In 2024 alone, hundreds of boil water notices were issued across the country, and in most cases, bottled water supplies were gone within hours of the announcement. So here's the golden rule. Burn it into your brain. 1 gallon per person per day. That's the bare minimum to cover drinking and basic cooking. FEMA and the Red Cross both recommend at least 3 days of supply. But if you want to be genuinely prepared, especially for home lockdowns, shoot for 2 full weeks. For a family of 4, that's 56 gallons. Sounds huge. It's not. It's just 4 big storage bins in your garage. Now, don't just grab a couple of cases and call it a day. You need a layered water strategy. Store commercial bottled water for quick grab-and-go use and fill food-grade containers for bulk reserves. Label every container with the date you filled it and stash it in a cool, dark spot. Heat and sunlight are the mortal enemies of water storage. And here's a pro move. Have a purification backup. This isn't overkill. It's essential. If your stored water runs low or you need to use rainwater, lake water, or even questionable tap water, you can make it safe. The EPA's method is simple but life-saving. For 1 gallon, add 8 drops of 6% unscented bleach or 6 drops of 8.25%. Stir. Wait 30 minutes and you're good. If the water's cloudy or icy cold, double the dose. Yes, it'll taste a little chloriny, but trust me, that's a better flavor than intestinal infection in a crisis. Oh, and if you've got pets, don't forget them. A large dog can drink a full gallon a day in hot weather. Baby's formula prep eats into your supply fast. And if you live somewhere that's already hitting 100 degrees F plus in August, you should be padding your water numbers by at least 25%. Extreme heat means you're sweating more, losing more fluids, and needing more than that 1-gallon baseline. Bottom line, in every disaster, the first aisle to empty is the water aisle. Not bread, not eggs, water. It's boring. It's heavy. It's the last thing people think about until it's the only thing they can't get. If you start building your water stash now, quietly and steadily, you'll never be the person melting ice cubes just to make it through the night. Number 2, dried beans and lentils, protein powerhouses. Next, let's talk about dried beans. And before you yawn thinking this is boring, let me blow your mind. These little protein powerhouses have seen a 28% price increase since the beginning of 2025, according to the National Agricultural Statistics Service. Here's what most people don't know. Scientists at the National Center for Food Storage recently tested 30-year-old pinto beans. And guess what? They were still perfectly safe to eat. We're talking about a 30-year shelf life when stored properly. That's food your grandkids could eat. But here's the urgent part. With climate disasters hitting major bean-producing regions in Mexico and Brazil, we're looking at potential shortages by late 2025. The USDA quietly released a report last week predicting 40% price increases for organic varieties. Here's what you need to grab. Black beans, highest in antioxidants, red lentils, quickest to cook, just 15 minutes. Pinto beans, most versatile is on chickpeas, trending up 60% due to global demand. Now here's the money-saving hack most people miss. Buy them from bulk bins, not those fancy packaged ones. I recently compared prices. Bulk beans cost about $1.50 per pound, while packaged ones hit $4.50. That's a massive 300% markup for the exact same product. Quick storage tip. Transfer them to airtight glass containers with a bay leaf inside. This prevents those tiny weevils that can ruin your stock. Trust me, I learned this the hard way. Grab at least 20 pounds per person. Sounds like a lot, but at current price trends, you'll thank me later. Number 3, pasta. More than just spaghetti. Now let's talk about pasta. And trust me, this isn't just about throwing some noodles in your cart. According to the International Grain Council, wheat prices surged 18% in July due to climate challenges in major producing regions. But here's why pasta is your secret weapon. First up, durability. Dry pasta can last up to 3 years past its printed date when stored right. That's instant meals waiting to happen. But here's the smart move. Don't just grab regular spaghetti. Let me break down what you actually need. Long pasta, like spaghetti and linguine. These are your basics. But here's what most people miss. Grab some bucatini too. It's like spaghetti with a hole running through it. Perfect for soaking up sauces and actually stays fresh longer. Short pasta is where it gets interesting. Grab penne and rotini. They're versatile champions. But here's my secret tip. Stock up on orzo. Why? When rice prices spike, and trust me they will, orzo becomes your budget-friendly alternative. Quick pro tip. Check the protein content on the box. Go for pasta with at least 7 grams of protein per serving. These premium versions might cost a bit more now, but they're worth their weight in gold when prices jump. Here's something wild. Colored pasta isn't just pretty. Those made with a spinach, beetroot, or squid ink actually pack extra nutrients and have slightly longer shelf lives. Pretty cool, right? Store them in airtight containers. Those cheap plastic ones won't cut it. Invest in good quality glass or BPA-free containers. And here's a bonus tip nobody talks about. Buy some lasagna sheets. Why? When supply chains get squeezed, fancy pasta shapes are the first to go. But lasagna sheets, you can break them up and use them just like regular pasta. Smart, right? Number 4, canned proteins, your meat insurance. Let me tell you something that'll shock you about the meat industry right now. According to the latest USDA reports, beef prices just hit an all-time high of $8.15 per pound. And they're predicting another 8.8% increase through 2025. But here's the crazy part. While fresh meat prices are skyrocketing, canned proteins are actually becoming cheaper. Listen to this story that happened to my friend Mike last month. He went to buy ground beef for his family of 4 and walked out spending $47 for what used to cost him $18 2 years ago. Meanwhile, I grabbed 4 cans of premium chicken for $12 that provided the same amount of protein for 3 weeks of meals. Here's what's really happening. The U.S. cattle inventory just hit its lowest level since 1951. We're talking about 86.7 million head. That's a catastrophic shortage. Farmers are liquidating herds because of drought conditions and feed costs that jumped fastest since 2023. Plus, there's this thing called New World screwworm that just shut down imports from Mexico, our biggest cattle supplier. But here's the golden opportunity. While everyone's panicking about fresh meat prices, smart shoppers are quietly stockpiling canned proteins. I discovered something mind-blowing during my research. Canned salmon in those new pouches has 32 grams of protein per serving. That's more than a McDonald's quarter pounder, and it costs 60% less. Now here's a hack that food scientists don't want you to know. Canned chicken breast in water actually retains more protein bioavailability than fresh chicken that's been frozen and thawed. The canning process concentrates the protein, making it easier for your body to absorb. I talked to a supply chain manager at Walmart last week who told me something off the record. They're seeing a 340% increase in canned protein sales, while fresh meat sales dropped 12% in the last quarter. People are waking up, but the window is closing fast. Here's your action plan. Grab at least 20 cans of various proteins per person. Focus on chicken, beef, salmon, and sardines. The sardines might sound gross, but they pack 25 grams of protein plus omega-3s that cost 200 in supplement form. Store them in cool, dry places. And remember, these aren't just emergency foods. They're your hedge against meat inflation. Number 5. Cooking oils, liquid gold. Listen up, because what I'm about to tell you about cooking oils will literally change how you shop forever. According to the latest International Food Policy Research Institute, vegetable oil imports make up 40% of global consumption, making this one of the most vulnerable food categories on the planet. Here's a story that'll blow your mind. Last month, a restaurant owner in Chicago named Rosa showed me her supplier invoices from January versus July. Her olive oil cost jumped from $89 per case to $247 for the exact same product. That's a 177% increase in 6 months. She's now rationing oil like it's liquid gold. But here's what's really terrifying. This isn't just about olive oil. The war in Ukraine completely destroyed global sunflower oil supplies. Ukraine was the world's leading exporter with 5.27 million metric tons annually. Now those processing facilities are bombed and burned, supply gone overnight. Then Indonesia, the world's biggest palm oil producer, suddenly banned all exports in April, causing global shortages. Meanwhile, Argentina, hit by the worst drought in decades, slashed soybean oil exports just when we needed them most. Here's something that'll keep you awake at night. Energy companies announce plans to increase biofuel capacity fivefold by 2030 using soybean oil as feedstock. Translation: they're literally stealing our cooking oil to make car fuel. This isn't theoretical. It's happening right now. I spoke with a food manufacturer last week who told me something chilling. They can't get quotes from suppliers because nobody has inventory. And if you want to substitute oils, you need new packaging with updated nutritional labels. But there's a 14-week lead time for new packaging due to supply chain chaos. Here's the insider secret that could save you hundreds. Coconut oil and avocado oil aren't just cooking oils. They're survival tools. Coconut oil works as antibacterial ointment, emergency lamp fuel, and skin protection, while avocado oil has the highest smoke point at 520 degrees Fahrenheit. Perfect for any cooking method. My storage strategy that nobody talks about: buy smaller containers, not giant jugs. Why? Because once you open oil, it starts degrading from air exposure. I buy 16-ounce bottles, store 8 at a time, and rotate constantly. This keeps everything fresh while building reserves. Quick warning: store oils in dark, cool places around 65 degrees F. Never near your stove, and always check for dark glass bottles. They protect oils way better than clear plastic. Number 6, salt and spices. Flavor security. Get ready for something that sounds impossible, but is 100% true. Right now, America is facing a nationwide salt shortage so severe that states have declared emergencies and municipalities are rationing road salt. But here's the terrifying part. This is just the beginning. Let me paint you a picture of what happened this winter. According to American Rock Salt Company, they shipped 2.1 million tons by January 2025 alone. That's more than they shipped in all of 2024 combined. Municipalities have already used more salt in the first quarter than they typically use in an entire winter season. But here's what nobody's talking about. The U.S. imports salt worth $687 million annually from Mexico, Canada, Chile, and Egypt. Yeah. With potential 25% tariffs looming, salt producers are warning they'll pass costs directly to consumers. We're looking at salt prices jumping 50% overnight. Now let me blow your mind about spices because this crisis is even worse. According to the latest spice industry reports, global supply chains are collapsing due to geopolitical tensions, climate events, and transportation chaos. The U.S. imports spices from over 50 countries, but 5 countries, Indonesia, Mexico, India, Canada, and China, supply half our spices. Here's a shocking story from the spice markets. Last week, black pepper prices hit 15-year highs because Vietnam's harvest got destroyed by extreme weather. Meanwhile, vanilla prices jumped 137% since January, making it more expensive than silver gram for gram. This isn't some distant problem. This is happening at your grocery store right now. I discovered something terrifying while researching this. 75% of spice imports come from just 7 spices: vanilla beans, black pepper, capsicums, sesame, cinnamon, mustard, and oregano. If any of these supply chains break, your favorite foods become impossible to make. Here's what food manufacturers are quietly doing. They're reformulating recipes, removing expensive spices, and hoping consumers don't notice. That jar of Italian seasoning that used to have 12 herbs now has 6 because companies can't source the other ingredients. But here's your secret weapon. Salt literally never expires. Never. I'm talking thousands of years. Archaeologists found 450-year-old salt that was still perfectly usable. One 50-pound bag costs $30 and provides survival insurance for your entire family. For spices, buy whole, not ground. Whole peppercorns last 4 years. Ground pepper lasts 6 months. Whole cinnamon sticks last forever. Ground cinnamon dies in months. Store them in airtight glass containers with bay leaves to prevent insects. Here's my emergency spice strategy that could save your sanity during shortages. Focus on versatile powerhouses: salt, black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, and chili powder. These 6 spices can transform any bland survival food into something actually edible. Quick insider tip: specialty salts like pink, Himalayan, and sea salt aren't just fancy. They contain trace minerals that become crucial if your diet gets limited. Plus, they're becoming currency during shortages. People literally trade premium salt for other supplies. Number 7. Honey. Nature's eternal sweetener. You know how most foods have that depressing little best before date that feels like a countdown clock on your pantry? Well, honey laughs in the face of those rules. Archaeologists have literally found pots of honey sealed inside Egyptian tombs over 3,000 years old. And here's the part that blows my mind. It was still perfectly edible. That's because honey is nature's ultimate preservation hack. It's got almost no moisture. It's naturally acidic, and it makes tiny amounts of hydrogen peroxide inside the jar. Together, that's like a triple security system against bacteria, mold, and anything else trying to crash the party. In plain terms, honey doesn't just last a while, it can outlive you. But here's the gut punch reality nobody tells you when they rave about its immortality. Fake honey is everywhere. This year, European food inspectors ran massive tests on imports and found a shocking percentage was cut with cheap sugar syrups. Imagine thinking you've got this ancient, indestructible superfood in your pantry, only to realize it's a watered-down scam that'll spoil in a year. That's why in 2025, the big buzz, pun intended, is around traceability. Look for seals like True Source Certified, or if you're splurging on Manuka, check the UMF rating. The higher the number, the stronger the antibacterial punch. No seal, no thanks. And here's where the story gets personal. I've been to my local beekeeper stand, and she told me her hives lost nearly half their colonies last season. And it's not just her. National surveys this year show the worst U.S. bee die-offs on record. Parasites, pesticide exposure, brutal heat waves. Bees are fighting for their lives. And here's the scary domino effect. Less bees means less honey, fewer pollinated crops, and yes, higher grocery prices. Stocking extra honey right now isn't just smart prepping. It's quietly supporting the very people keeping our food system from collapsing. Now, a quick storage truth bomb. Honey is a moisture magnet. Leave the lid loose, it'll suck in humidity and can actually ferment. Trust me, fermented honey smells like a biology experiment gone wrong. Store it in airtight glass jars in a dark cupboard away from heat. And if it crystallizes, don't panic. That's a sign it's pure. Just place the bar in warm water gently and it'll turn silky again. No microwaves, no boiling, no drama. One more thing, and this is a non-negotiable. Never ever give honey to babies under 1 year old. There's a tiny risk of infant botulism because their immune systems can't handle the natural spores in raw honey. Adults and older kids are fine, but infants are off limits. So, how much should you stock? My rule, 2 to 4 jars per person as a baseline. It's instant energy, never needs cooking, and in a blackout, it turns bland survival oats or tea into comfort food. And trust me, when the world feels shaky, morale is worth more than gold. A single spoon of honey can calm nerves, lift the mood, and remind everyone at the table that sweetness still exists even in a crisis. Number 8, flour and sugar, baking basics. Let me share something that most people overlook. Flour and sugar. But recent market data shows these basics have seen price spikes up to 22% in some regions. And here's why you should care. Flour first. Major wheat-producing regions are predicting lower yields for 2025 due to extreme weather patterns. That means higher prices are definitely coming. But here's a secret most people don't know. The best time to buy flour is actually right now during late summer when humidity is lower, meaning better storage life. Pro tip, don't just grab all-purpose flour, get bread flour too. During the 20T shortage, bread flour vanished first because everyone started baking at home. Store it in airtight containers with oxygen absorbers. They keep flour fresh for up to 8 years. Now sugar, and this is fascinating. White sugar literally lasts forever if stored properly. I'm not exaggerating. Recent global production reports show a 15% decline in sugar production. But here's the kicker. Alternative sweeteners are getting even more expensive. Here's my storage hack. Transfer store-bought sugar to airtight containers and toss a bay leaf in there. It naturally repels pantry moths. Trust me, this trick has saved my stockpile multiple times. Number 9, instant coffee, caffeine insurance. Here's something that might surprise you, instant coffee. And no, I'm not talking about that bitter stuff from decades ago. Modern instant coffee is actually incredible. And here's why you need it. Scientists recently tested 25-year-old sealed instant coffee. And guess what? It was practically identical to fresh samples. That's mind-blowing durability right there. Each jar contains roughly 100 cups, making it less than 15 cents per cup. Talk about inflation-proof caffeine, boss. But here's what is really happening. Brazil's coffee production hit a 20-year low this summer due to extreme weather. Their exports are down 35% and prices are climbing fast. Major coffee companies are quietly reformulating their blends using more Robusta beans, which affects taste. Here's a survival hack I learned from a wilderness expert. Mix instant coffee with honey and spices for an incredible meat rub that transforms bland emergency food. Plus, sprinkle it around your garden area. Insects hate it. 1 jar gives you 3 different uses. Number 10, canned vegetables. Nutrition insurance. Let's talk about canned vegetables, and trust me, this isn't your grandma's emergency food. Recent agricultural reports show that fresh vegetable crops suffered 28% damage this summer due to extreme weather. That's why canned veggies are becoming smart investments. Here's something that shocked me. Studies from the National Food Institute show canned vegetables retain up to 92% of their nutrients even after 3 years of storage. They're actually getting more nutritious over time compared to fresh produce that loses vitamins during transport. My top picks: corn, green beans, and diced tomatoes. These aren't random choices. They maintain quality longer and are incredibly versatile. But here's the money-saving hack. Mixed vegetables actually have better nutritional profiles than single veggie cans. Pro tip: look for low-sodium options and BPA-free cans. Store them in a cool, dark place around 65 degrees F. They'll stay perfect for up to 30 months, but write the purchase date on top with a marker. Quick warning: avoid dented or rusted cans. But here's something most people don't know. Those best buy dates are just quality estimates, not safety dates. Properly stored, canned vegetables are safe years beyond those dates. Number 11, oats and quinoa, superfood grains. Now let's dive into something that's flying under most people's radar. Oats and quinoa. These aren't just trendy health foods. They're survival superfoods that most emergency planners completely miss. Here's what blew my mind. Steel-cut oats can last up to 10 years when stored properly, and they pack serious nutrition. 8 grams of fiber, 7 grams of protein, plus essential B vitamins per cup. Plus, they've got these amazing compounds called avananthramides, exclusive to oats that fight inflammation. But here's what's happening. Quinoa production in Peru and Bolivia actually hit record highs this season. While rice prices are going crazy, quinoa offers better nutrition and stays good for 3 to 4 years when stored right. Recent studies from Cornell University revealed something shocking. Quinoa provides complete protein with all 9 essential amino acids your body can't produce. That's like having meat in grain form. Here's my storage secret: food-grade buckets with gamma seal lids. Plus, I drop in 300cc oxygen absorbers per 5-gallon bucket. This setup can preserve these grains for decades. Pro tip: buy steel-cut oats over instant. Why? Steel-cut versions pack more nutrition and have a incredible shelf life. Instant oats are processed more and don't store as well. Number 12, powdered milk and eggs, dairy security. Let's talk about powdered essentials, and trust me, this category has been revolutionized. Powdered milk isn't that chalky stuff from years ago. Modern freeze-dried versions actually taste incredible. Here's something that shocked me. Recent tests show modern powdered milk retains 98% of its nutritional value even after 20 years. That's not a typo. 20 years of dairy security sitting on your shelf. But here's what's really exciting: powdered eggs. The newest products taste so good. I made a quiche last week that my family couldn't tell wasn't made with fresh eggs. One container equals 40 fresh eggs and lasts 7 years unopened. Here's the urgent part. Dairy processing facilities are struggling with equipment shortages and labor issues. Major producers are quietly reducing their product lines to focus on high-demand items. Pro tip: mix powdered milk with equal parts regular milk for a protein boost. Kids won't even notice the difference. I keep small containers in my everyday pantries and bulk supplies in deep storage. Emergency preparedness experts now recommend storing 2 pounds of powdered milk and 1 pound of powdered eggs per person per month. These aren't just emergency foods, they're everyday nutrition boosters. Number 13, dark chocolate, morale booster. Finally, let's talk about something that might surprise you: dark chocolate. And no, this isn't just about satisfying cravings. This is serious nutrition strategy. Here's something fascinating. 70% or higher cacao chocolate doesn't just survive. It actually gets better with age, developing deeper flavor profiles over the first year. Think of it as nature's energy bar on steroids. One 3.5-ounce bar packs more antioxidants than 6 cups of blueberries and enough calories to fuel a full day during emergencies. Plus, here's what most people don't know. Vacuum-sealed dark chocolate in cool storage can last up to 6 years. But here's why you need to act now. Global cocoa production is facing its worst crisis in 40 years. Climate change has devastated West African crops, which produce 70% of the world's cocoa. Prices have already jumped 85% since January. Here's my storage secret. Keep chocolate below 65 degrees F away from light. Don't store it into the fridge. That actually damages the texture. Just a cool, dark pantry works perfectly. Remember, this isn't just about emergency prep. Dark chocolate provides magnesium, iron, and compounds that boost mental alertness. Exactly what you need during stressful situations. Before you rush to the store, let me share some game-changing storage tips that will save you from costly mistakes. First, the golden rule of emergency food. First in, first out. Create a rotation system. New items go to the back. Older ones stay front. I use a simple whiteboard to track dates. Quick tip, take a photo of your storage area before shopping. It prevents buying duplicates. And here's something 90% of people get wrong. Storage temperature. Keep everything between 8 to 70 degrees F away from outside walls and direct sunlight. For bulk storage, the gold standard is Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers stored in food-grade buckets. But here's a budget hack. Those plastic containers from the dollar store work fine for smaller quantities. Here's your action plan. Don't try to buy everything at once. Start with items 1 through 5 this week. Then gradually build your stockpile. Focus on foods your family actually eats because the best emergency food is food you'll actually consume. If this video helped you prepare for what's coming, smash that like button and subscribe because I'll be covering the supply chain disruptions hitting in September. Next week's video reveals the 7 household items that are about to vanish from stores. And number 4 will shock you. Drop a comment telling me which food you're stockpiling first. I personally started with rice and honey because they're the foundation of long-term food security. Remember, we're not panicking, we're preparing. Stay smart, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next one.